Hi. I want to share a reflection on anger. I'm going to start simple and then progress into more complexity around my experience with this and how I've worked with this. Just a little bit. Um, Not trying to teach, just sharing my thoughts. So, I regard any of our emotional energies as pure life force, intelligent, and in a very basic sense, informational. Like the the knowledge, the living knowledge we actually need is already stored within the emotion and the expression of the emotion. So when it comes to anger, I don't care at all to hear about any modality that wants to structure it, organize it, teach you how to think about feeling or expressing it. When we regard anger as violent or an attack, my what I want to say is that it's not anger. It's not anger in its purest form. It's anger intermixed with something else. Fear, resistance, hurt, sadness. When we are clear about this, and I'm not going to tell you what clear is because I don't know, but I believe I've had some few experiences in life with um, kind of deep, true anger. And in those moments, I mean, it's power and it can be so immensely calm uh, at the same time as it's entirely resolute. I'm thinking of a large, perfectly serene ocean. It's still, but it's powerful. So that's sort of like a little bit of non-dual language. Now, what I perceive is the way to go is to, at any given point, own and acknowledge whatever's going on in the moment to the best of your ability. I mean, we're going to be faulty in this. We're going to be making mistakes. And this isn't a black or white thing, logical. It isn't A and B, one, two, three. It's a living thing. So, I mean, we could probably wish for those perfect moments of perfectly clean anger, not mixed with anything else, like the Zen circle or something. No, the Zen circle is actually imperfect. So, again, I perceive that when we judge anger as dangerous, violent, defensive, or an attack, um, disruptive of connection or relationships, is either because our own anger and expression of it isn't clean. It's mixed with fear. It's halfway anger coming out, um, halfly held back, halfly doubtful, or it's the fear in the person on the receiving end. A few things I've learned to do is rapid fire in the moment. So when I'm listening to somebody, when I'm in conversation with them, if something strain or tense within, I try to do some somatic testing and going with it. So somebody could be busy with their takedown energy, complaining about work, and I get annoyed, and I don't discard that. Like, I recognize my body is speaking to me here. I don't need to know that the other person is wrong and I'm right. I don't need to know anything. I just need to recognize, no, I'm strained here. What is it? Like, I'm not hurt. No, I'm not hurt. I'm not angry. Yeah, I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm angry. Silently within. And many times, just from that, some key intelligence will arise, and I will suddenly gain the confidence or just know that it's time for me to speak, to say something, and I might even be able to suddenly interrupt the person. And during the best circumstances, I will do so with kindness, with groundedness, not putting anything on the other, and be able to receive their reactions if they suddenly get startled or whatever. I'm like, okay, this person got startled. I mean, it's okay. They're afraid. They're afraid. They're afraid. They're afraid. And to, yeah, allow for that to take place. This took practice. I mean, starting I saw the value of inquiry. And for example, when I met up with my dad and he triggered me badly to the point where I couldn't hardly maintain myself, I'd just go into the other room and I'd do a quick inquiry and bring up the energies. This, though, brought me very close to dysregulation because, I mean, as you're triggered with a VIP, it's going to be very energetic, strong energies. So I want to share, I mean, that it's possible. It's possible to practice your way to tolerate these energies and get more and more and more skillful with it until the point where you can do live inquiry silently within yourself as you're relating with somebody else. Occasionally, I've even done frozen fear inquiries internally or compulsion inquiries internally as I'm relating with somebody else. But it took practice, a lot of practice. So if it brings you to the brink of dysregulation, doing it as you're triggered, I would really take it to separate instances of inquiry first, where you can clearly map out your net. So in the case of my dad, I need to know, my internal system, what emotions he actually evokes in me. And to give a more precise example, I mean, he evokes everything in me. On the surface level, it's a very defensive anger. But it wasn't until I had done a lot of inquiry work where I actually found trauma sources with my dad. And these were very difficult to deal with. And it was key moments where I was terrified. I was utterly terrified. And he wasn't a safe container for me in any shape or form. He didn't even recognize my emotions. So when I don't connect with my dad or feel that he's present with me, which is my most common experience, I do not feel safe. And this is a very young child's utter terror in front of the open universe. It might sound like I'm getting dramatic now and exaggerating, but when you get down into the depths of these core emotional energies, that's not how it is. It is truly terrifying. And here's a little, keynote on that. I would find I'm not safe, or it's not safe, or I don't feel safe with him, or with mom. I don't feel safe with mom. It's freaky how intensely I do not want to acknowledge that, at the same time as it's such a powerful energy that it doesn't take much to recognize it and to give it a name. But I find that it's because there's so much fear stored in it, and I do not want to feel that fear. So saying it's not safe or I'm not safe, that is like giving name to it and allowing yourself to feel it, to feel it, to feel it. And here I want to add another keynote is that speaking with Sarah in the forum, an old member, she said, yeah, I have the deficiency story of I'm not safe. And I told her, oh, I was thinking about that as a trauma command. So when I evoke one of these early traumas, and I would have the full-on, unfrozen fear experience, which to me can be fear in within all my senses, within my entire body. It's a very, very powerful fear, where it's crucial for me to name exactly what I'm feeling. So here's the fear, and it's like, I don't want to feel this fear, I don't want to feel this fear, or I'm afraid of this fear, I'm afraid of this fear, I'm afraid of this fear. Or it was very important to recognize, I'm afraid to be seen afraid. I'm immensely afraid to be seen afraid. It was yet more important to recognize, I hate this fear. I fucking hate this fear. I don't want to feel this fear. But here she gave me a clue, like, I'm not safe. It's a deficiency story. Hang on, let's try that. So the next time I came into that space and had that experience, I used identity ignition with it. Like, I don't have to believe I'm not safe. I don't have, yes, I'm, boo. Even more fear that was secretly stored within the belief I'm not safe. And I think it's crucial because as a human being, you have to be safe. That's the core number one necessity you need as a human being. Like, that's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Safety. They all say safety. You as a human being need safety to survive, to be sane. So it's never the enemy. It's not either freedom or safety. I mean, it's from the foundation of safety, seeing through imagined psychological beliefs, to the recognition of I don't know, freedom and safety, or safety and freedom, however you want to perceive it. So what I want to do with any concept is open it and find the energy within. And this is really cool. This took some time. I felt more comfortable speaking today. I feel that I sidetracked a little bit from the anger. So I want to conclude with something, and that is, I believe that most human beings will have some form of anger repression, regardless if it's your primary or not, because we're all civilized. Civilization, to me, is a manufactured control over our wildness. I believe we need to come into contact with our most primal wildness and be able to embody it, express it, relate together through this primalness. If we want to, no, I'm not going to go all all big-minded here. That's absolute core to me. That's what all this work is about. But to understand that if most people on earth are repressed around anger, none of us have a fucking clue what true anger is. But through the tools we are using here, we are able to reverse engineer ourselves out of repression one step at a time, and never at any point is anger, the energy of anger, going to be the problem. It's not. Anger is not dangerous. It's when it's intermixed with fear, hurt, other things, and we don't recognize it, or some concepts, some mind stuff take over, sort of hijacks us, where we disconnect from our own body. So with that, if you listened, Thank you very much. Till next time.